Steve Little, the director, and this group of 12 very talented musicians known as the Bix Youth Jazz Band. And I want to let you know we're going to kick things off with a great song made famous by Gene Krupa, and here they are.
This is the 2023 version of the Bix Jazz Society's Youth Jazz Band. And we we always like to start the set off with what we call a barn burner. And that is definitely a barn burner. Y'all remember that? 1938, Carnegie Hall. Benny Goodman and Gene Krupa at Carnegie Hall. Our Benny Goodman down here, Jennifer Krogmeyer, take a bow. And our drummer, of course, Sam Bogus, from Rock Island High School. We'd like to feature now on a little piece our piano player, Lucas Zeringer, who is from Muscatine High School. In 1914, W.C. Handy wrote a piece called the St. Louis Blues. It was, yes, the national anthem. And it was about a woman that he met in St. Louis, and she had lost her husband. St. Louis woman, with all her diamond rings. Guess something about that man around without his apron strings, or something like that. 1940, Earl Hines did a little piece called The Boogie Woogie on the St. Louis Blues, and here's Lucas Zaringer. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you were here yesterday and you're here again today, you probably have noticed by this time that we did some digging this year in our library to come up with some music that isn't normally played here at the Bix Festival, and we're really proud of the fact that we have these arrangements, and that we can actually play them as well. It's a real interesting experience, I have to say, to be teaching kids who are in their middle to upper teens how to play music that their grandparents probably never heard before. Because this music is some of it, over 100 years old. And, but they get down to work, they get the job done, and eventually they get it, and they're starting to enjoy it as well. Got one for you here that was written by George Gershwin in 1928 for a Broadway show called Treasure Girl. George Gershwin, and I beg your pardon, the show was called Strike Up the Band. This tune is called I Got a Crush on You, Sweetie Pie. trumpet solo in the back row. Take a bow. Our trombone, Joe Drago. And the saxophone is Colin Minor.
Take a drink.
Now this next tune is one I'm particularly proud of that we managed to locate in our files, in our library. Anybody out there remember Cab Calloway?
Blues
Cab
Brothers.
Calloway. What a showman this guy was. He always wore tails. And I was just watching a video last night with Cab Calloway and the Nicholas Brothers. Oh, the Nicholas Brothers, probably the best dancers that ever existed, tap dancers. And I don't remember the tune they were doing, but this one was written in 1940 and Cab Calloway recorded it and sang it, and it's called Boog-It. B-O-O-G. It. Boog-It. Anybody ever heard of that? Well, you're about to. Soloist in the back row on the trumpet is Blake Miguel. And in the front row tenor sax, Colin Miners. We should tell you that this band is formed by means of auditions. We'll be having auditions for next season and next year in December. And I'm going to be sending out notices to all the area, schools, high schools, middle schools, etc. Because membership in this band is accepted everyone from 8th grade through 12th grade. And we'll be sending out those, and we'll have auditions in December. We start rehearsing in January. In case you're wondering, we've been rehearsing all year. We start at the end of January. Through January, February, March, April, May, we rehearse every other Sunday afternoon. And then in June and July, when we've narrowed everything down pretty well, then we rehearse every Sunday afternoon in June and July, leading up to the festival. We always open the festival, and we're here tonight, and we're here tomorrow night, yeah? So we'll be back at 3:15 tomorrow. Be sure and come back. Bring some people with you. I think all these people are missing out on this band that aren't here right now. They should be here. Get out there and round them up. Bring them in. Here's another, I'm trying to remember who wrote this piece. It's probably, no, it's not. It's not. I thought this was probably W.C. Handy, but it's not. This is the Wabash Blues. We've done St. Louis Blues, we've done the Beale Street Blues, we've done the Memphis Blues, this is the Wabash Blues. And this is written by Fred Meinken in 1921, and it was premiered by the Isham Jones Orchestra in 1941. This is the Wabash Blues.
I was just playing this morning.
Trumpet solo on that, of course, by Blake Miguel. And the tenor solo by Colin Miner. Joe, did you have a solo on that one? Oh, the whole section. We need to have the whole section stand up, take a bow.
Don't forget.
Thanks for reminding me of that. I can't sometimes remember my name between here and the back door. The joke is I have memory foam insoles in my shoes just in case I walk out of the kitchen so I can remember why I'm there. We all know it. All right, so the Wabash, I think, probably runs into or through Memphis. And so now we're going to go to, this one is a WC Handy piece. If you go down in Memphis, if you ever go to Memphis, go down on Beale Street. Down on the far end of Beale Street, there's a little park down there. There's a statue of W.C. Handy on the end of Beale Street. Take a look at it. It's a nice looking statue. I've been there many times. I have to pat myself on the back a little bit because I was on the road for about 30 years with the Russ Morgan Orchestra, and we used to play in the Peabody Hotel in Memphis pretty regularly. You been to the Peabody? Yeah, the Ducks, right. I don't know if you know, maybe some of you do know, at the Peabody Hotel they have a cage full of ducks on the roof. And every day, at the beginning of the day, they put them on the elevator and they bring them down to the lobby, and they march the ducks through the lobby to the fountain. And the ducks swim around in the fountain. And then at the end of the day, the ducks march back over to the elevator, back up to the roof, and in the cage at the Peabody Hotel. Or if you're in Memphis or you're living in Memphis, it's the Peabody.
Peabody.
I think it is. But played there many times. That's one of the worst load-ins I've ever experienced in my life. Because on Sunday afternoon we had a tea dance, but it was after the Sunday afternoon brunch. And so on the freight elevator that we're trying to unload our stuff and get to the top floor about the same time they're bringing the Sunday brunch back down on the same elevator. That's not fun. All right, so here's the Memphis Blues was actually written for a military band in 1912, is what I'm told. W.C. Handy, the Memphis Blues. One, two, three. trumpet soloist, Blake Miguel. And did we ever have a solo on? No, not on that one. just had the section. How about the section stand up? Sax section. Now you may notice, thank you, Greg. You may notice on the end of the saxophone section, there's a person down there that looks a little, maybe a little older than sixth grade or eighth grade or whatnot. Jennifer Krogmeyer is a friend of mine who's played in my big band for many, many years, my big band, the Kicks Orchestra. We needed some help in the saxophone section this year, so I asked her if she would help. And she did. She was glad to do it, and I needed her also to play the Betty Goodman solos on Sing, 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 and if you're here tomorrow, we'll do Chicago as well. Jennifer, take a spin over that. Okay, you've already heard our piano player once. We're going to put him to work now. We all know that Bix was self-taught on the cornet, which meant that sometimes being self-taught, he didn't have the appropriate fingerings on the cornet. He just played the ones that he found as he was doodling around, and they sounded right, so he used them. If he had had trumpet lessons, he probably would have played them with different fingerings, but they worked out all right. He was also a self-taught pianist, and he taught himself enough piano that he could actually write music for the piano as well. And we're going to have Lucas play a piece that Bix wrote for the piano called In the Dark. How about a balloon? Very nice. Now, we know historically that Biggs played in some big bands. He played with the Gene Goldcat Orchestra, and he played also with the Trumbauer's Orchestra, and he played with Paul Whiteman's orchestra as well. But the great majority of the music that Biggs made was with smaller groups, 7-piece groups. And we're going to play a 7-piece group right now, an arrangement for a 7-piece group, so that you get an idea of what a 7-piece group sounds like. We have 7 people going to play a tune that's about a bootleg, a shoe shiner. And
Black.
they usually call these guys Shine, and that's the name of this tune, Shine. Louis Armstrong recorded it in, I'm thinking, 32, and it's just because my teeth are pearly, you know, just because my hair is curly. Shine, I'm Shine. 7-piece band. drummer, Gene Silva, Lucas. Lucas, I don't know why I thought Lucas Foss, that's somebody else. He's a classical composer. Lucas Zeringer. You did not meet our bass player. This is Andrew Skinner on bass.
Yeah!
I'm going to lose about half of this band after this festival is over because a lot of these guys are going away to school. I already know that Lucas and our guitarist, Lex Atkinson, are going to the University of Northern Iowa to play with Chris Mertz's band. And I also know that Andrew Skinner is going to Iowa State to play with their band, and Joe Drozel is going to Drake. We know where they're going. I have to tell you, after having some of these kids for 2 and 3 years at a time, sometimes they become like family. Now, I will let you know, I've got grandkids older than some of these kids. I've got great-grandkids older than some of these kids. But, so these are my great-grandkids right here in front of you. What are we doing? Oh, Little Farewell Blues from the, oh, hang on, I forgot my notes. New Orleans Rhythm Kings, 1922. Paul Maris, Leon Rapolo. They were all New Orleans natives, and they wrote this song called The Farewell Blues. Here it is. cell phone all the time. Anybody want to buy a watch cheap? This one quit on me. I think before I left home today. Now, we've done the Memphis Blues, we've done the Wabash Blues, we've done the Farewell Blues. Now, might as well round it out with the Beale Street Blues. W.C. Handy, 1960, Beale Street Blues. Miguel, and on tenor, Colin Raymond. Last tune, I said I thought we were running a little behind. We just made up that time for that last tune. All right, we got this tune for you. 1925 and to 1930 was a group called the Charleston Stompers. The Charleston Stompers made this song famous in a 1930 film called Honey. 1938 film, Sing You Sinners, Bing Crosby. So we're going to do a Fletcher Henderson arrangement this time. Fletcher wrote a lot of arrangements at that time. Fletcher Henderson arrangement of Sing You Sinners. gonna be lucky enough, I think, to have some of them back again next year. So look out. Sky is the limit with this band as far as I'm concerned. Now we're gonna give everybody in the band a chance to blow. Gonna do a head arrangement. Head arrangement meaning there's no written music for this. We know this tune. It's a really simple tune, and everybody gets to blow on it. We've done the Memphis Blues, the Wabash Blues, the Farewell Blues, the Beale Street Blues. This is a C Jam Blues. Count Basie. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. met yet on our trombone player back here is, Brady. I can't think of his first name suddenly. I told you about memory foam, didn't I? Yeah. Harrison Brady, that's his name. And believe it or not, he was not named after Harrison Ford. He was named after George Harrison. Is what I was told. All right, now get the band up and let's give them a big hand, please. Thank you for coming. We'll see you tomorrow about 3:15. Let's do it all again.
All right, let's give a big round of applause again to Steve Little, the director, and these 12 outstanding members of the Big Beiderbecke Youth Jazz Band. Aren't they wonderful?